You've been lied to your entire life. They told you to stay calm, think, positive, breathe. Weak advice for weak men. The truth is this: the world doesn't reward those who react. It destroys them. Reaction is slavery. Response is mastery. Every time you react, you reveal your weakness. You hand your enemy the keys to your mind. But when you respond cold, calculated, deliberate, you become untouchable. This is the Machiavellian law of mental power. Listen carefully. The battlefield isn't out there. It's inside your skull, your thoughts, your impulses, your emotions. That's where wars are won or lost. He who cannot control his mind is already conquered. He who can bend reality to his will. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to weaponize you, to strip away the illusions, the softness, the excuses. You want power, then train your mind like a blade. You want respect, then master silence and calculation. You want victory, then stop reacting like prey. Start responding like a predator. This is the Machiavellian mind. And today, I'll show you how to build mental power so cold, so sharp that no one, not enemy, not rival, not life itself can break you. Now comment this phrase before we begin. My mind is my weapon. Number 1, the first law: control is power. Power begins with control, not of others, not of circumstances, but of yourself. The man who reacts is a puppet. His strings are pulled by anger, fear, envy, or pride. The man who responds, he is the one who cuts those strings and becomes the puppeteer. Understand this: reaction is instinct, response is strategy, and strategy is what wins wars, builds empires, and forges legends. Machiavelli wrote that men are governed either by love or by fear. Most men react because they want love, they want approval, they want validation. That makes them predictable. That makes them weak. The rare man who responds with cold precision commands fear, and through fear he commands respect. Think of your mind as a fortress. A fortress cannot be shaken by every stone thrown at it. It stands, calculating, waiting, choosing when to open the gates and when to unleash hell. That is what you must become. A fortress, unshaken, unbothered, untouchable. When someone insults you, don't react. When someone provokes you, don't flinch. Instead, pause, breathe, watch. Let them reveal themselves while you remain silent. In that silence, you are building power. In that pause, you are sharpening your blade. A response delivered after control is worth 10,000 reactions made in weakness. Comment this phrase right now to engrave it into your psychology. I command myself, therefore I command the world. Number 2, emotion is a weapon, not a master. Emotions are not your enemy, but if you let them control you, they will destroy you. Anger, fear, jealousy, these are raw forces of nature. A fool reacts to them. A strategist harnesses them. The man who cannot master his emotions is ruled by them. The man who can weaponize them becomes a force others cannot predict or resist. Machiavelli taught that it is better to appear merciful, faithful, humane, but beneath the mask hold the cold steel of calculation. This means you do not eliminate emotion. You chain it, you leash it, you use it when it serves you, and you silence it when it weakens you. Think of anger. In reaction, anger is chaos. It explodes. It leaves you vulnerable. But in response, anger becomes precision. You channel it into focus. You sharpen it into action. Fear. In reaction, fear paralyzes. In response, fear sharpens. Awareness. It makes you cautious, strategic, impossible to catch off guard. Your emotions are tools, hammers, blades, fire. The weak man sets fire to himself in blind rage. The strong man holds fire in his hand and decides exactly when, where, and how to burn his enemies. So ask yourself, are you mastered by your emotions, or are you their master? Do you let them dictate your behavior, or do you bend them to your will? Control this and you will have what most men can only dream of: emotional invincibility. Comment this phrase to claim it. I own my fire. It does not own me. Number 3. Silence is strategy. Understand this. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is strategy. The masses react because they cannot bear the weight of silence. They must speak. They must defend. They must prove. And in that desperate noise, they reveal their fears, their insecurities, their intentions. But you, if you are to train your mind to respond, not react, you must master the art of silence. Machiavelli himself knew that words are weapons, and weapons must never be drawn recklessly. To respond with silence is to force your opponent into discomfort. It is to make them reveal themselves. While you remain hidden, the loud man is predictable. The silent man is dangerous. Why? Because silence creates mystery. Mystery breeds fear, and fear grants you leverage. A measured response after silence cuts deeper than 1,000 words spoken in haste. In AI world of endless noise, silence is a form of power. It is rare, it is unsettling, and it is commanding. Use it. When attacked, do not rush to defend yourself. When provoked, do not rush to prove your strength. Let them wonder. Let them wait. Let them doubt. Your silence will echo louder than their shouting. And when you finally respond, do so with precision, with cold logic, with words sharpened like blades. That is how kings speak. That is how rulers command. That is how you become untouchable. Comment this phrase right now. My silence is my shield. My words are my sword. Number 4, the pause, turning impulse into power. Every man feels the pull of impulse, the sudden surge of rage when insulted, the itch to lash out when challenged, the burning need to prove himself in the moment. But that impulse, that animal reaction, is the very chain that keeps most men enslaved. They think they're powerful because they spoke their mind or stood their ground. In reality, they gave away their control. They showed their cards. They became predictable. Prey. The pause is where your transformation begins. The pause is the split second between stimulus and action. In that moment, weak men collapse. They explode. They panic. They overreact. But the Machiavellian mind uses that pause as a throne. He sits in it. He breathes in it. He calculates in it. And when he moves, he does so with purpose, not impulse. Think of the great rulers, the generals, the conquerors. Do you imagine? They barked and snapped at every slight number. They mastered the pause. They let their enemies reveal their strategies, expose their weaknesses, exhaust their energy. Then, when the time was right, they struck not with reaction, but with response. Cold, final, devastating. The pause is not inaction. It is controlled preparation. It is sharpening your mental blade before you cut. It is gathering leverage. While the other man wastes his strength, it is becoming untouchable because you refuse to play on the enemy's terms. You must train yourself to live inside the pause. When insulted, breathe. When threatened, observe. When challenged, delay. Because inside that delay is the power to choose the battlefield, the weapon, and the timing. And the man who controls those three controls the outcome. This is why most men fail. They let their impulses lead. And impulses always lead to weakness. But not you. You will weaponize the pause. You will use it as your crucible, your chamber of decision, your throne of control. Comment this phrase now. I master the pause. Therefore, I master myself. Number 5, detachment. The art of seeing without being seen. To respond. Instead of react, you must detach. Detachment is not apathy. It is not weakness. It is clarity. The man who is too entangled with his emotions, with his ego, with his pride, he sees nothing clearly. He is blind, stumbling through the battlefield of life, reacting to shadows, chasing illusions. But the man who detaches, he sees everything. He becomes the observer, the strategist, the one who watches while others burn themselves alive. Machiavelli understood this. He advised princes to appear as though they cared deeply, but in truth, their minds were cold and calculating. To detach is to place your emotions behind glass, You feel them, but they do not control you. You see the storm, but you do not drown in it. You measure, you analyze, you judge, while others drown in their impulses. Detachment allows you to see people for what they are, not what they pretend to be. The flatterer, the manipulator, the liar. They are invisible to the reactive man, but to the detached mind, they are exposed. Every movement, every word, every slip of the tongue is a piece of information, and information is power. The reactive man is consumed by pride. He must answer the insult. He must fight for recognition. The detached man ignores such traps. He knows that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every fool deserves acknowledgement. Instead, he chooses his wars, and when he enters them, he does so with overwhelming calculation, not emotion. Detachment also protects your energy. You cannot control the world, but you can control your response to it. And by detaching, you conserve your strength. For moments that matter, you become untouchable because you are no longer baited into reaction. Remember this, the detached man is dangerous because he cannot be predicted. He is dangerous because he cannot be provoked. He is dangerous because he plays the long game while others play for the moment. Comment this phrase right now to solidify it into your mind. I see everything. I am moved by nothing. Number 6, the predator's mind. Cold, patient, calculated. To respond, not react. You must think like a predator. The predator does not waste energy on every noise in the forest. It does not flinch at every rustle in the grass. It waits, it observes, it studies, it chooses the moment. And when it moves with precision, finality, inevitability. That is how power is exercised, not through frantic reaction, but through cold patience. The reactive man is prey. He startles, he panics, he lashes out blindly. His weakness is obvious because his actions are dictated by his emotions. A predator watches such men with contempt, their habits, their insecurity, their impulses. These things betray them long before the first strike. Machiavelli taught rulers to move only when the outcome was certain. Do you understand the brilliance in that? It means restraint until the odds are yours. It means silence until the moment of impact. It means waiting until your opponent is vulnerable, distracted, or weakened by his own folly. Then and only then respond, not with noise, not with rage, but with finality. This is the predator's law. Control the hunt by controlling yourself. The lion is not feared because it roars at every sound. It is feared because it decides when to strike, and when it does, there is no escape. You must become that lion. Your responses must carry the weight of inevitability. When you act, it should be calculated, decisive, and undeniable. Patience is not passivity. Patience is power waiting in silence. Every pause, every delay, every calculated step is gathering momentum, gathering certainty, gathering advantage. The reactive man burns out quickly, exhausting himself in pointless struggles. The predator conserves energy, saves his strength, and delivers the killing blow. When the prey has no chance to fight back, this is how you must operate in life, in conflict, in business, in relationships. Do not chase, do not beg, do not react. Sit back, watch, let them reveal themselves, let them show their weaknesses, let them think they've won. And when the time is right, respond with precision. One move and the game ends in your favor. This is not just strategy. This is survival in a world ruled by power. The predator's mind makes you untouchable because you are never baited, never rushed, never forced to play someone else's game. You wait, you watch, and then you dominate. Now, engrave this into your psychology by commenting, I wait, I watch, I strike, only when I choose. Number 7, the mask. Power in disguise. If you want to, respond with mastery, not react like prey. You must learn the power of the mask. Every great strategist, every true ruler Every man who commands fear and respect knows this. Never show your real face to the world. What you feel is one thing. What you reveal is another. Machiavelli taught that it is not necessary to be virtuous only to appear virtuous. Why? Because appearances control perception, and perception controls power. The mask allows you to respond on your own terms while the world reacts to the illusion you've created. The weak man reacts because he cannot hide his anger, his insecurity, his envy. They are written all over his face. He exposes himself, and in that exposure, he is already conquered. But the Machiavellian mind wears the mask with precision. You might feel anger, but you reveal calm. You might feel contempt, but you reveal respect. You might feel nothing at all, but you reveal warmth. The mask disarms your enemy, misleads your rivals, and keeps your true thoughts locked away where no one can touch them. Understand this: raw honesty is a luxury of the powerless. The powerful man calculates what truth to reveal and what to conceal. He does not react with transparency. He responds with theater. And in that theater, he manipulates perception to bend reality in his favor. Consider this: when others insult you, the reactive man shows offense. His mask shatters, and the enemy knows they've cut him. But you, when insulted, you smile, you nod, you wear the mask of indifference or even amusement. And behind that mask, your mind sharpens, calculating the most effective response. That single moment makes you terrifying because no one can read you. The mask is not weakness. It is the highest form of control. It allows you to decide how others see you, and in doing so, you control their behavior. When they think you are harmless, you strike. When they think you are arrogant, you humble them. When they think they know you, you reveal nothing at all. This is how kings rise, how predators dominate, how empires are built. You must master your mask. Do not let your real emotions spill out for others to weaponize. Protect your truth. Project your illusion and use it to shape the battlefield around you. Comment this phrase now to engrave it into your psychology. My mask is my armor. My truth belongs only to me. Number 8. Power over others. The psychology of control. Once you master responding instead of reacting, you step into the next arena, controlling others. Because here lies the ultimate truth. Most people live as slaves to their impulses. They are ruled by desires, fears, and fragile egos. They crave recognition. They fear rejection. They react without thought, without pause, without strategy. And that makes them predictable. Predictable men are controllable men. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He observed that people are fickle, shallow, and weak-minded. They follow strength. They worship confidence, and they bend to perception more than reality. If you respond with cold calculation while they react with desperation, you become the one who sets the frame of every interaction. You dictate the rules because you are not bound by the same chains as they are. Consider how easy it is to control a reactive mind. If you know a man reacts to flattery, you feed him praise until he trusts you blindly. If you know a man reacts to insult, you provoke him into exposing his weaknesses. If you know a man reacts to fear, you whisper shadows into his mind until he collapses under their weight. This is the essence of dark psychology, understanding the levers inside another man's mind and pulling them with precision. The reactive masses are like puppets, their strings tied to their emotions. You, however, are the puppeteer. By refusing to react, you remain untouchable. By choosing your responses, you position yourself as the one who controls tempo, energy, and direction. They play your game without even realizing it. This is why restraint is more powerful than rage. This is why silence is more commanding than shouting. This is why patience is more devastating than impulse. You are not simply protecting yourself by responding. Instead of reacting, you are weaponizing control over others. The calmer you remain, the more unshaken you appear. The more unstable they become. They will break themselves trying to break you. Now think about this, the greatest. Rulers never ruled with sheer force, alone. They ruled through perception, manipulation, and psychological mastery. Caesar, Napoleon, the Mede, they understood that people obey not because they are forced, but because their minds have been shaped. You cannot shape a mind if you are a slave to your own impulses. But if you respond measured, calculated, cold, you shape theirs with ease. So let me ask you, are you still living as prey, reacting to everything thrown at you? Or are you becoming the strategist, the manipulator, the master of responses? Because if you embrace this, you rise above the masses. You walk into any room and the room bends around you. You speak less and they hang on every word. You act less and yet every action is amplified. This is the essence of Machiavellian power. Not noise, not rage, not reaction, but control. Control of yourself first and then control of everyone else. Now, engrave this into your mind by commenting, I pull the strings. I am never the puppet. Number 9, the war within, mastering the battlefield of the mind. Before you can dominate others, you must conquer yourself, and this is where most men fall. They read about power. They admire strength. They fantasize about control, but inside they are fractured, weak, divided, a battlefield of impulses, where every emotion wages war against their discipline. The man who cannot rule himself will never rule anyone else. That is the first law of power. Reaction is proof of defeat. When you react, you are declaring to the world, I am not in control of myself. Anger controls you. Fear controls you. Ego controls you, and if those forces rule you, how could you ever hope to rule another? A slave to impulse cannot be I, master of destiny. This is why Machiavelli emphasized discipline above all. The prince who could not restrain himself was overthrown, betrayed, or destroyed. The general who rushed into battle without calculation was defeated. The ruler who listened to his emotions instead of reason was manipulated. Every downfall in history is the story of reaction winning over response. So understand this, your greatest enemy is not outside of you. It is not your rival. It is not the critic. It is not the betrayer. Your greatest enemy is within, the undisciplined mind, the restless ego, the emotional storm. That is the war you must win. You win it by training your mind to respond, not react. How? Through discipline, through pause, through relentless awareness of yourself. You watch your emotions rise like waves and you refuse to be dragged by the tide. You train yourself to step back, to breathe, to measure. Every time you pause before speaking, you're sharpening your weapon. Every time you hold back instead of exploding, you are forging armor. Every time you calculate instead of rushing, you're building an empire inside your mind. Think of the reactive man as a slave to his impulses. Someone insults him, he must answer. Someone ignores him, he must prove himself. Someone provokes him, he must fight. But what does this prove? Nothing. He dances to another's tune. He is a puppet jerking on invisible strings. Now think of the Machiavellian mind. Someone insults him. He smirks. He waits. He chooses whether to respond at all. And if he does, it is with words so sharp they cut deeper than any outburst. Someone ignores him. He turns indifference into leverage because silence makes others crave his attention. Someone provokes him. He does not flinch. He studies. He watches. And then at the right time, he responds in a way that ends the game completely. That is mental war. That is cold masculine. Stoicism sharpened into power. You are no longer dragged into petty battles. You choose your wars. And when you fight to win, not to vent, not to feel better, but to dominate. The war within is the most brutal of all. But victory here makes you invincible everywhere else, because once you own your mind, you own your world. Nothing external can touch you. No insult shakes you, No provocation moves you. No betrayal surprises you. You are calm, cold, calculated, untouchable. This is what separates men who live as pawns from men who rise as kings. Train your mind to respond, not react, and you walk into the battlefield of life already victorious. The world bends to the man who bends himself first. Now carve this into your psychology by commenting, I conquer myself, therefore nothing can conquer me. Number 10, untouchable, becoming the fortress of power. Now we arrive at the end. But this is not an ending for you. It is the beginning of a new way of thinking, a new way of moving through life, a new way of commanding yourself and the world around you. You came here curious. You listen because you know the truth. You have reacted too many times. You have given away power. You have exposed your mind to the world like an open wound. But tonight that ends. From this moment forward, you begin the transformation into something few men ever achieve. Untouchable. What does it mean to be untouchable? It does not mean you are immune to attack. It does not mean life spares you pain, insult, or betrayal. It means none of those things break you. It means you have built a fortress within yourself so strong, so calculated, so disciplined that no external force can breach it. Reaction is the crack in the wall. Response is the steel. Reinforcement. Each time you refuse to react, you are laying another stone in the fortress. Each time you respond with clarity, you are pouring molten iron into its foundation. Soon you will stand behind walls so high, so cold, so impenetrable that the world can only look upon you with awe or fear. Machiavelli wrote that men should either be caressed or destroyed, for they avenge slight injuries but cannot avenge great ones. Think about that. Small reactions leave you vulnerable. A cold, calculated response, delayed, deliberate, devastating, ends the conflict completely. This is why you must choose your responses carefully. Never react to every stone thrown at your walls, but when you do respond, do it with such precision that no second strike is needed. That is how princes ruled. That is how empires endured. That is how predators dominate. You must understand, the world will test you. It will insult you, provoke you, betray you, challenge you. The weak man reacts and wastes himself. The untouchable man watches. He learns. He stores everything in silence. And when he moves like a shadow. Quiet, lethal, undeniable. That is what you must become. Not just a man, a fortress, a weapon, a presence that cannot be shaken, cannot be baited, cannot be broken. The masses will never understand this. They will call you cold. They will call you ruthless. They will call you dangerous, and they will be right, because true strength is dangerous. True strength is cold. True strength does not react like prey. It responds like a king. So let me ask you, are you ready to stop being ruled by impulse? Are you ready to build the fortress of your mind? Are you ready to become untouchable? Then start now. Begin by disciplining your silence. Train yourself to pause. Harness your emotions as weapons. Wear the mask when it serves you. Choose your responses, like a general choosing where to strike. Live as a predator, not prey. And most importantly, remember this final law. The man who masters himself masters all. The man who cannot master himself masters nothing. Comment this phrase right now to seal this lesson into your psychology. I am untouchable. And if this has struck something deep within you, if you feel the fire of transformation igniting, then do not let it fade. Like this video, subscribe to the Machiavellian Mind. Turn on notifications so you never miss what will sharpen you into the weapon you were meant to be. This is just the beginning, because the world doesn't need more men who react. It needs predators. It needs rulers. It needs men who respond. Be that